Right then, see, quick walk around video for Honda CR-V. It's a 2-litre EX manual. We know this car well actually. It's lovely to see it back. I sold this car to its last owner about 4 years ago, and it was one of the nicest CR-Vs we had in our possession at that time, and it still is. This is a stunning example, not only because of its condition, because it's in lovely condition, it's also packed with extras. It's got the exterior styling pack, rear spoiler, big 19-inch alloys. Also, say, full history on the car, 55,000 miles only, but it really is one of the very best you'll see anywhere for this kind of age and mileage. You know, we're not going to try and make this the cheapest one out there, far from it. It merits the price that's been asked for it. You know, I think it's a bargain actually, but there we go. But I would. Front of the car, lights and lenses clear and intact, there's no cracks or condensation there. Bonnet's very, very clean indeed, can't see any stone chips at all. Near side of the car, beautifully smooth in the panel work, really crisp, no indentations. I've literally just swilled the car off, not polished it. It's got such a lovely natural gleam about it. Inside front alloy, really nice. Inside rear, again, absolutely fantastic. And I always say the ones with the kits, always rear 3/4 angles, it just adds an extra dimension to the car in terms of its look. It's all very subtle, but it works beautifully. Around the back again, extraordinarily clean. Bumper protector as you get in and out, exhaust garnish as well. Off side of the car, again, absolutely mirror smooth. Side rear alloy, lovely condition there. Remaining panel work, my final alloy, it's absolutely lovely. You're going to look very, very hard to find a blemish on that car. It's genuinely one of the cleanest I've ever seen. It's coming to the back of the car now, absolutely enormous boots, and it's, again, you can see it's been kitted out with all the nice things, all storage tidies there, Honda ones, the cover for the boot area as well. Plastics are in absolutely beautiful condition, just never normally see them like this. It's coming to the back now, enormous amounts of rear legroom in the CR-Vs, and the front seats are set for me, and I'm 6 foot, so I'm not cheating. That's exactly what you get. And the back of CR-Vs, as with the boots, are normally very heavily used because it's where the families and the kids go, and yet this one has been kept simply beautifully. The rubberized mats, by the way, are covering the carpets underneath, so it's got 2 sets of carpets in the car. From the front to the passenger side, again, really clean and tidy. Passenger seat there, again, looks as though it's had absolutely minimal use. Finally come to the driver's door card, again, really, really clean. Footwell areas likewise, and driver's seat for an 11-year-old car, regardless of mileage, in pristine condition. So inside the car now, engine's running through this section, so the dash is illuminated. Dashboard looks pretty much like new. Sorry, I'm going to start coughing in there, but I'm really cold at the moment. Sat nav, you can see there, working exactly as it should. Pop the car into reverse, you've got the rear parking camera, which complements the front and rear parking sensors fitted to the car. And down, it's just wonderful condition. Finally come to the dashboard binnacle, 55,573 miles. And there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual, pack and lock and unlock key are all here and present with the car. Right then, so a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2-litre EX manual. Car's registered OU13UZD, and mileage at the start of the road test is 55,566. The reason we do all of our videos, especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see that very car actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important is because, unfortunately, like lots of people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or a description, but unfortunately only to get there and find out that actually there's an obvious fault that shows up, which you'd much rather known about before heading off. We also do it on these very quiet country roads in this beautiful part of Gloucestershire. This actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on. and the hope is, of course, it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you go on a drive in the car. So coming to the car, as you know from the walk around section, we know this car very well, and it's lovely to get back into it. It's been beautifully maintained throughout its life, and it's abundantly clear as soon as you set off. The car just feels absolutely as tight as a drum. Push the start button, engine whirs into life, settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car, actually. Temperature gauge running as a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle as well. It is a fabulous engine, without doubt the most reliable and toughest engine in its class. They got cam chains, no cam belts to worry about, but probably more than that in some ways, it's just how it drives. The engine is so sweet-natured. It's docile, it's tractable, but if you put your foot down and keep your foot down, it picks up with vigour. It's one of those that you can just tell when a car's been, well engineered. And Honda are masters of the, four-cylinder engines. They're the best in the world, and this is a timely reminder of why. Because you put your foot down, you get that lovely kind of induction sound, but there's no kind of harsh edge to the engine at all. Engine then feeds into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch on the car absolutely perfect, bite point exactly where it's meant to be. It's lovely and smooth in operation. Gearbox, just a brilliant gearbox in every way. The gear shift quality is fantastic. It's short in throw, it's snappy, it's precise. Basically, it's a polar opposite of what you get in most other SUVs, where they end up giving you kind of these sort of vague, lifeless sort of gear changes. This feels, properly engineered, and it feels exactly as it would have done when it was new. And coming on to the steering and chassis of the car, always been one of the strong points of the Honda CR-V. It just drives so well, very car-like to drive. They were way ahead of the game when they first brought the CR-V out. It's only now that other manufacturers have decided to bother making them feel less like commercial vans to drive than more like a car. But the CR-V just does it all very well, and it's the subtleties I love about it. The steering, it's not over light, which I hate, but it's well weighted, but it's precise, it's accurate, it's actually reasonably quick. Because these are not sports cars, they're not meant to be. But when you get into some of the SUVs and its competitors, because it's very difficult to get a car to satisfy everybody. If you want out and out handling, you end up with a stiff ride, which is uncomfortable. If you want comfort as a priority, that's fine. It'll be on a straight road, but as soon as you go through corners, it'll lollop about because it's a higher centre of gravity. What Honda have done brilliantly with this car is managed to achieve a very comfortable ride for 99% of the time. Yet when you go through corners, the body control is exceptionally good, and it's these points were missed by a lot of the sort of motoring press when they came out. They always say the same things, and it drives me insane, but anyway, it's by the by. But coming back to the steering, first and foremost, there's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. It also tracks absolutely dead straight, which is always nice to see. And the suspension exhibits absolutely no clonks, rattles, anything from underneath the car whatsoever. As I said, it literally feels tight as a drum, this thing. Brakes on the car are fantastic, powerful brake pedal. There's no pulsing or vibrations coming back through the brake pedals, all in fine order. I've said that all this is going to be checked because the car will be heading off over the next couple of days for its MOT, and that's done completely independently of us. We have no input into it whatsoever, as should be the case. And then finally coming inside, lovely interior. Again, normally with a car you end up with sort of compromises. If you have a lot of space up front, you have less behind, or you have a big boot, you have less behind, you have more space behind, you have a small boot, but this manages to do all of it. You've got loads of space up front, great driving position, nice comfortable seats, well bolstered, Then behind, got massive amounts of room, so I can sit behind myself with leg room to spare. You know, you don't feel pinched at all. But then you still have what, you know, class leading boot size as well. So it's got all of the practicality, and beautifully put together. You know, the build quality of these things is exceptional. You know, Honda don't go for showy. They never have done. So if you want kind of squidgy plastics and thunky doors, then the Germans do that rather nicely. But it is a perception rather than a reality, a lot of the build quality. Because this is real build quality, 10 years old, no squeaks, no rattles, nothing. It's absolutely beautifully put together, because what they designed it for is good, regular, hard family use. So it's got to be tough, but also easy to sort of clean and, you know, wipe the surfaces down. But it still looks grand in here. You know, it's very, very nice. Dash layout is, you know, first of all, very highly equipped, but it's very simple to come to terms with. A couple of days in the car and you've mastered it. All working perfectly. Sat nav, as you can see, one of the nicer systems to use as well, by the way. Really easy to use, really nice system that. Down below that, climate control system, which is dual zone, so you can have different temperatures side to side if you feel that way inclined. That pumps out absolutely ice cold air, by the way, so all working perfectly well. All of the switchgear, always say if you twist anything or press anything on a Honda, you end up with this lovely, satisfying, high quality damped feel to every control, because they're designed to sort of withstand decades of use, hundreds of thousands of miles, and still feel good, and they always do. And then finally got this wonderful, simple, relatively, dash binnacle in front, white on black dials, lovely graphics, easy to read. It's perfection, really. And then finally, this lovely leather-bound steering wheel. I mean, it's literally just arrived to us, this car. We've not touched it. It doesn't really need cleaning. It's in beautiful condition. It was when we sold it to them, and it's come back every bit as good as it went out. This is a four-wheel drive version, by the way, of the CR-V, although you don't do anything. It's completely automatic. Brilliant, actually, as well. Honda worked out when they launched the first CR-V and in its design that most people would be driving as I am right now, where you just don't need four-wheel drive on. So what's the point? So, but 99% of the time, most people don't need it. So what happens is I'm currently running in two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, which is the most efficient way to pull a car along. Only if it needs to go into four-wheel drive will it do so, and it reacts far more quickly than you ever could, because it's done via the traction control system of the car. So if you're going to pull away on a bit of sort of snow, mud or ice or something, and the front wheel started to lose grip, just seamlessly and instantly it brings in the rear wheels. It is brilliant. We have two CR-Vs. I have one, my wife has one. We tow with them, and we've never come close to getting stuck with them. The other advantage of the system is fairly obvious as well. You know, by not having been on four-wheel drive the whole time, you're going to save fuel, save on your tyre wear, and put far less mechanical stress through the vehicle as well. You know, actually, we've sold, crikey me, thousands of CR-Vs over the last 3 decades. And I genuinely can't remember putting a spanner on any of them in terms of the four-wheel drive system. So they are very robust indeed. I can't fault this car. It drives absolutely beautifully.